Hey there everyone, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. It is difficult coming out of NaNoWriMo. I'm going to admit it now. I don't know what to do with myself. For the past month I've been writing every single day, and now I'm not. For the past month I've been vlogging more or less every single day, and now I'm just I don't know what to do with my life. That's how much this NaNoWriMo has sort of screwed me up. I don't know what to do now with my day. I have nothing to do. December is usually my calm down month. It's the month where I don't do any writing. I thought I'd stop and sort of make November also more of a reflective month in preparation for 2020, in preparation for the new decade next year. I'm going to take this month to really think about me as a person, as a writer, and figure out what I can do to, I suppose, improve upon what I'm currently doing. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is why I don't read. You have all probably heard this a million times before. In order to be a good writer, you have to be a good reader. You have to read your genre, you have to read all the genres, you have to read good books and bad books. That's the only way you're going to be a good writer, and I do not believe that 100% for a second. I don't believe it. I do not believe you have to be a good reader in order to be a good writer. I don't, because I'm not a good reader, but I wouldn't call myself a bad writer. I'd call myself a bad first drafter, but that's a first draft. First drafts don't count. Now, I don't read. I've never actually sort of stopped to think about why I don't read anymore. I used to be a really good reader back in 2017, and I say 2017 because 2017 was the year when the first Magnus Chase book came out, and I remember buying that book and I remember reading it straight away because I love the series, I love the books, and that's what it was. I think 2017 was the year I read the most books recently, which was 6 books. My plan was 1 per month. I didn't get to 1 per month, I got to 6 months, and then I stopped reading. And then last year, 2018, I read 3 books, maybe, I think, and then this year I've read 2.5. 1.5. I still haven't finished that book from February. No, 2.5, because I've read Shadow and Bone. I've read 2.5 books this year, and I've started a 4th. And I don't know what it is. I always say to myself, oh, you're too busy to read. You've got the writing to do, you've got the kids to look after, you've got the house to keep clean, you've got all of this stuff. But when I stop and think about my day, I do have time. There's plenty of time throughout the day where I'm not doing anything at all, where I'm literally on my laptop, scrolling through YouTube, watching videos, scrolling through the internet, doing God knows what. I waste my time. Seriously. And when it comes down to why I haven't written, why I haven't done this, why I haven't done that, I just haven't had the time. That's my excuse. Because I'm supposed to be busy, and I have all of these jobs that should keep me busy, but I don't do any of those jobs. Reading is one of those jobs. I miss reading. I do. I really miss reading, and it used to be my pastime was reading. I would get a new book, I would read it in a day. You know, back in the day where I could read a book in an entire day, you know, back when I didn't have so much stuff to do that just keeps me busy the entire day. Yeah. I really need to try and think why I don't read anymore, and I think I've sort of figured it out. Part of it is because I'm really picky about the books I choose. Part of it is because I've sort of lost faith in YA. And that sounds really weird, and I'm going to try to explain myself a bit better when I say that. I will only read something if it really interests me. And number one, I don't find a lot of YA books interesting anymore. They don't sound interesting to me when I read the back. They just don't click with me like they used to. and I don't know why. Part of the reason I think is because of the romance aspect. I have a certain view now of YA and what YA entails, which makes me very wary about picking up a book and reading it, for fear that it's going to end up disappointing me and I'm going to end up hating it, because I don't want to hate the books I read, because then it's like, what's the point in having read it? The problem I have with YA, which, to be fair, it's probably not all YA books, and I know this, but I don't have the time or patience to go looking for books and reading reviews, etc., etc., to find different ones. But the problem with YA is the romance, and I dislike romance in books, especially in YA, because YA romance more or less sucks ass. I hate it. It's all average girl who doesn't think she's pretty in a love triangle with her best friend and the dark, brooding, mysterious guy who both think she's God's gift to women, and she spends the entire book trying to figure out which one she should be with while also saving the world, or something to that effect. And in so many books, I've read the back of them, and they sound really, really interesting, and they sound packed full of action and adventure and fantasy, and then you read the book and it's basically a romance book with all of the interesting stuff shoved into the background. I had this problem recently where I read Sarah J Maas, a Song of Ice and... no, that's George R. Martin. Hang on. Throne of Glass. Right, okay. I had this issue when I read Throne of Glass. It sounded really, really cool, and I knew there'd be romance in it because obviously the back hinted at it, but it upplayed the interesting part. It upplayed this tournament to the death. It upplayed all of that, and it sort of downplayed the romance. But in the book, the romance is just like in your face, and the interesting part is like skipped over. And I was really upset at that. I was not happy at all whatsoever. I remember reading the book and being like, I don't care. I care about the death tournament, okay? And even with Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, like, it's obvious the second you start reading it, there's going to be a love triangle. Okay, ignore the back, which sort of like tells you there's going to be some sort of romance or something between Alina and the Darkling, right? I knew the second I started reading that there was going to be some sort of love triangle between her, the Darkling, and her best friend. And it wasn't a massive, obvious love triangle, but it was there. And that's what was sort of like, had me umming and ahhing about reading Shadow and Bone in the first place, because I knew there was romance in it. But, you know, that's got a series coming out soon, so I need to read the books to catch up so I know what the hell I'm watching on screen. I've been so disappointed in YA books when I've read them, and they are this romance, this awful, most of the time, non-chemistry forced romance between the characters, disguising and overshadowing the actual interesting part of the plot. Like, I'm nervous, I'm scared to read YA now, just in case it happens again, because that'll just piss me off and make me hate the book, because I'm not getting what I promised. And that sounds really, really shallow, and I know it sounds shallow, and I know I am being extremely picky, and I might love a book that has the YA romance in it, as long as it's done correctly, in my head, in my way. You know, it's fine. It will be fine, but I'm just so apprehensive about picking up a YA book just in case it disappoints me, because I don't want to feel like I've had my time wasted reading. And I don't know. Yeah, it's really, really weird how my brain works and how my brain thinks. I want to read, but but I won't read because I don't want to be disappointed by what I have read. And it's inevitable, and it's going to happen, and it's life, and you're going to like some books and you're not going to like other books. And yeah, I know that, but that's the thing. I don't want to have wasted my time and money on a book that I don't like. Obviously, I need to sort of do something to change my way of thinking, because not all YA books are going to be like this, and I understand that. I want to, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, I don't have time, I don't have patience really to do the research into what books are good. I hear about all of these really good books, all of these hyped up books that are coming out for YA, and I'm so apprehensive. I'm so apprehensive about getting them, because I know they're going to have some sort of crummy romance in them that I just do not have the time or energy to read. I'm going to hate it, and I don't want to hate it. So, on some level, I think that is one of the main reasons I don't read. I'm just so apprehensive about picking up a book that sounds good only to be disappointed again. And I need to do something to sort of get my head out of this mindset, because I'm going to hate books. I know I'm going to hate books. I know it's going to happen. If I spend my time on something, I want it to have been worth it. I want that same feeling when I read Six of Crows for the first time, and I immediately had to go out and get the sequel because I couldn't not know what happened next. I want to be that person who has to go out to the bookshop and get a book the day it's released so I can read it, like I used to with Percy Jackson and Magnus Chase in The Trials of Apollo. I'm naming all of the little kiddie books I read, see? I want to be that, but I want to be excited about reading again. I want to be excited about reading again, but I'm just not. Something has happened and I'm not excited about reading, even though I'm excited about the idea of reading. And maybe it has something to do with writing. Maybe I've been so stressed and working myself to the point of burnout with writing recently that my mind just doesn't want to think about another book. That books can't even be another creative outlet for me anymore. I just look at a book and I'm like, ugh, do I have to sit there and read it? Sort of thing. And I'm just bemoaning this now. I'm just bemoaning this entire situation because it's really peed me off, because I want to read. I love reading. But I don't love reading. It's a vicious cycle and tangle of stuff in my head that I don't think I've properly worked out, but I've sort of got at the core what it is I do not want to be disappointed. I'm disappointed reading my own writing. I don't need to be disappointed reading someone else's writing. That's why I don't read. I am going to make a very big conscious effort in the future, especially in 2020, to read more. I'm trying to get over this. It doesn't matter if it's disappointing, that's just how the book goes. You are not going to like everything. You are not going to like what other people like, and sort of try and get over that. I know that in the new year I'm definitely going to be reading the rest of the Shadow and Bone series, because while the romance annoyed me, it was an okay book. I'm not desperate to read the sequels, but I want to for the TV show, so that's set. I need to make my way through my TBR pile, at least, and get that sorted, and then, yeah. So now I turn to you, AuthorTube. Let me know down in your comments below, what are your favourite books? YA, MG, adult, whatever. Which books would you recommend for me to read based on this ramble of a video? That's it for me for now. I will see you in the next video. Good thoughts and happy writing.